Hello students, welcome to Science Learning Gateway. I hope you all are doing good. So today in this tutorial we are going to discuss class 7th science chapter number 9 soil exercise question answers. I will explain you each and every question answers given in this chapter in your textbook so that it will be easy for you to learn and understand. One numerical is also given over there, that also will do, and also all the answers are given there so that you can write all the answers in your text in your notebooks. So let's start with our discussion of chapter number 9 soil. Before starting guys, I have a small request from you all. If you're really liking my tutorial and my work, then please click on the like button and share it with your friends also. Don't forget to click on the bell icon so that whenever I will be uploading a new video, you'll get the notification for that. And if you're new to my channel, then also please subscribe it and share it with your friends also. So let's start with the question answers of chapter number 9 soil. First question, what we have, choose the correct answer. Take the most suitable answers in question number 1 and 2. Both the question number 1 and 2 is choose from your multiple choice question in which 4 options are given. From that we have to select the most suitable answer, most correct answer. So let's discuss the question number 1 for that. In addition to the rock particles, the soil contains, you know that the soils are made up of rocks, right? So it will contain rock particles. Apart from rock, what are the things present in the soil? Let's look at the options given over there. Air and water. This option is short, wrong. It's not true. Water and plants. This is also wrong. Third option, what we have, minerals, organic matter, air and water. This option is correct because we know that in soil minerals are also present, organic matter also present, and in the spaces between the soil particle, air and water is also present. So this is true. And the fourth option, water, air, plant, this option is also correct. Wrong. These options are also true to some extent, but this option number 3 is the most suitable answer because in this all the particles are present which are present in this. All the things are present which are present in the soil. What are the particles which are present in the soil? Minerals, organic matter, air and water. So your option number 3 is the correct answer for that. Next question, what we have, the water holding capacity is highest in, we have 3 types of soil, right? Sandy, clay and loamy soil. So in which of the soil the water holding capacity is highest? In which soil can absorb more water? So let's look at the option given over there. Sandy soil, clay soil, loamy soil, mixture of sand and loam. So correct answer is your clay soil because it is the most, this soil has the highest water holding capacity. This is best suitable for the growing of crops also. So your correct option is clay soil. Now we'll move towards question number 3. In question number 3 we have match the column. 2 columns are given, column number 1 and 2. I have written the correct answer in front of all the questions over there. First question, we have a home for living organism. So what is the home for all living organism? Means over there animals can also live and small insects can also live and the plants can also live. So what is the home for all living organism? All kinds of soil, because we know that in soil plants can be grown, ants and small insects, they can also live, rabbits, snakes, frogs, they can also live in the soil. Next question, what we have, upper layer of the soil. What is the characteristic of upper layer of the soil? We have read when we have read the chapter, that time we have discussed that upper layer of soil is dark in color, right? The upper layer of the soil where we used to grow the plant, it is dark in color. Next we have sandy soil. In sandy soil, what was the characteristics of the particles? The size of the particles are large in size. You all know that it is, the particles are little bigger than your soil particles. So sand particles have larger particles. Middle layer of the soil. The middle layer of the soil, what are the things which it will have? Lesser amount of humus. Okay, the highest amount of humus is present in the top layer of the soil, but middle layer of the soil will have lesser amount of humus. It will have more minerals, but the amount of humus will be little in middle layer of the soil. And the last one, we have clay soil. What is the characteristic of clay soil? Small particles and packed tightly. This is the feature for clay soil. In the clay soil, the particles are very small in size. The soil particles are very small in size and they are very close to each other. So they are packed tightly also. So this was the match the column for this question number 3. Next we have question number 4. Explain how soil is formed. This is an important question. This question is generally asked in the exams. How soil is formed. So how soil is formed? We have read that soil is formed by the weathering of rocks. The first line, that only you have to write. Soil is formed through the process of weathering. You have to remember this one, weathering. Weathering means breaking down of rocks. Okay, the rock particles will be broken down with the help of air, wind, water, and it will be changed into small pieces, and from that soil will be formed. So that answer only we have to we will discuss over there. The first point what we will write, soil is formed through the by the process of weathering. Okay, weathering is a process of physical breakdown and chemical decomposition of rocks and minerals near or at the surface of the earth. So what is weathering? That you have to write in the second line. Weathering is a process of physical breakdown and chemical decomposition. Decomposition means also breakdown. The breakdown of rocks and minerals will take place near the earth surface, which are present on the earth surface. Their breakdown will take place. That is called weathering. This physical and chemical decomposition is primarily done with the help of wind, water and climate. So how the breakdown of rocks will take place? By the help of wind, water and climate. That you have to write in the third line. As a result of these processes, large rock particles are converted into smaller pieces and eventually to soil. And at last line, what you will write? Because of the process of weathering, the large rock particle will be converted into small pieces, and after that the small pieces will be changed into soil. For example, this is one big rock particle. It will break down into two pieces like this. Again these rocks will break down into four pieces, 1 2 3 4. Again this will break down into small particles, and finally they will form soil, right? So how soil is formed? Soil is formed by the weathering of rocks. And what is weathering? Weathering is a process of physical breakdown and chemical decomposition of rock, and it is done by the help of wind, water and climate. After that, big rock particles will be broken down into small particles, and after that they will be converted into soil. So this is your answer for how soil is formed. Next question. How is clay soil useful for crops? So how clay soil is useful for crop? Why it is good for crops? So we'll write 3 points for that. Clay soil is useful for crops for the following reason. First point, what you can write, it has good water holding capacity. You know that clay soil is very good, has a very good water holding capacity. This point you will write. Second one, as it is good for crops, so it will obviously have organic matter or humus in it. It is rich in organic matter. Okay, all the organic matter means the dead parts of plants and animals, when they will decompose, they will be mixed with the soil and they will make the soil fertile. So that is called organic matter. So it is rich in organic matter. And the last one, it has a good water holding capacity. You can cut this line because I have written two times this one. At last you can write it is very fertile in nature. It is very fertile in nature. It is fertile in nature. Third point, you can add this one. It is fertile in nature. Okay, first point you will write it has good water holding capacity. Second one, it is rich in organic matter, and third one, it is fertile in nature. That's why it is very useful for growing the crops. Now we'll discuss question number 6. In this, we have to write the differences between the clay soil and the sandy soil. For this, you have to make two columns. One for clay soil, another for sandy soil. If you'll make two columns like this, then it will be easy for you to learn. Okay, the first point, what you will write for clay soil, particles are small in size. We know that in clay soil, the particles are very small in size. The soil particles, they are very small in size like this. But in sandy soil, the particles are bigger in size like this. In sandy soil, the soil particles will be bigger in size. Second point, clay soil has a good water holding capacity, but sandy soil the water holding capacity is low. It's not so good. Okay, next, clay soil is rich in humus and organic nutrients. Okay, in this we have read it's why it is good for growing the crops. So we know that in clay soil it is rich in humus and organic matter. Humus and organic matter or organic nutrients are present in soil. And sandy soil, it is not rich in humus and organic nutrients. Humus and organic nutrients are not present in sandy soil. Fourth point, what you can write, particles are tightly packed. How particles are tightly packed? Like this. The particles will be very close to each other. So the particles are tightly packed. But in sandy soil, there is some gap between the particles. So particles are loosely packed. Okay, next one, clay soil is very fertile in nature, but sandy soil, it is not fertile in nature. So these are the 5 points of differences between the clay soil and the sandy soil. I hope you all have understood that. Next one, Question number 7. In this, you have to draw a diagram. Sketch the cross section of soil and label the various layers. This diagram is there in your NCERT textbook also. Figure number 9.3, soil profile. The same diagram you have to draw in this figure. You have to draw the various layers of the soil. So you know that the top layer of the soil is called A horizon, where we can grow the plant. It is dark in color. Next one we have B horizon, in which the rock particles are present. Few rock particles are present, and the amount of humus is also low in B horizon. And in C horizon we have the rock particles, okay, and at last it is very hard layer, that is a bedrock. Okay, so these are the layers of the soils which you have to draw in this figure. Now question number 8. This is numerical. This you have to understand a little bit so that you can do it. It's very easy, but you have to remember the formula for that. Now, first we'll read the question. Razia conducted an experiment in the field related to the rate of percolation. One girl is there, Razia. She has performed one experiment, and the experiment was related to the rate of percolation. This we have read in the text, rate of percolation. She observed that it took 40 minutes for 200 ml of water to percolate through the soil sample. Calculate the rate of percolation. What she has done? She has taken 200 ml of water and she has poured that 200 ml of water in a soil sample. So for 200 ml of water to go into that soil sample, how much time it took? It took 40 minutes. Okay, time is 40 minutes. Amount of water is 200 ml. We have to find the rate of percolation in this case. So what are the data which are given in the question that we have to write first? Amount of water is 200 ml, that you have to write. Next, percolation time is 40 minutes. 40 minutes it took to percolate the water. Next, we have to calculate the rate of percolation. That only will write percolation rate, or you can write rate of percolation. What is the formula for that? Rate of percolation is equal to amount of water divided by percolation time. This is the formula to calculate rate of percolation, amount of water divided by percolation time. But in calculating rate of percolation, what you have to remember that amount of water should always be in ml, milliliter, and the percolation time should always be in minute. Then you will get the unit of rate of percolation as ml, milliliter per minute. So what is amount of water given in the question? 200, right? And the percolation time is 40. 0 will be cancelled. 4 ones are 4, 5s are 20. So your answer is 5 ml per minute. Okay, because the amount of water we have taken in ml and the time is in minute. So unit will be 5 ml per minute. I hope you all have understood this question. Maybe in the exam, the amount of water and percolation time will be different. Then also you have to use the same formula. You have to put amount of water at the top and time at the bottom, and you have to divide that. You will get rate of percolation in that case. Next, question number 9. This question is also important. Explain how soil pollution and soil erosion could be prevented. How we can prevent soil pollution and soil erosion? These are nowadays one of the most important problems which we are facing, which our environment is facing. So how we can prevent soil pollution and soil erosion? So two points will write for soil erosion and 2 points for soil erosion. 2 points for soil pollution and 2 points for soil erosion. So first we'll write for soil pollution. Soil pollution can be prevented by the following measures. We can take these, if we will follow these steps, then we can prevent soil pollution. The first one is by reducing the use of plastics, we can reduce pollution. You know that plastics are causing so much pollutions in the soil. Okay, they're making our environment dirty. Okay, so government has also banned the use of plastic. So we should also reduce the use of plastics to reduce the pollution also. Second one, by controlling the use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides, we can control soil pollution. You know that farmers in their lands, for growing the crops, they use the chemical fertilizers as well as pesticides to kill the pests or the insects. Okay, so those chemical fertilizers and pesticides, they also cause soil pollution. They are very harmful for the soil and they will also cause soil pollution. So we should use these chemical fertilizers and pesticides in very limited amount. We should control, we should not use in a very large amount, right? So these are the 2 steps for controlling soil pollution. Now, what are the steps for controlling soil erosion? Soil erosion can be controlled by taking the following steps. First one, by planting more and more trees. As you know that the roots of the trees will hold the soil particle, right? So whenever wind or rain will come, they will not carry take away the soil particles along with them. So by planting more and more trees, we can control soil erosion. So what is soil erosion? That you should know. First thing, that washing away of the top layer of the soil by wind and water is called soil erosion. So whenever the wind will blow very fast or the rain water will come, they take away the soil particles along with them. That is called soil erosion. If plants or trees will be there, then what will happen? The soil particles will be tightly held by the roots, so the soil erosion will not occur. So first point is that by planting more and more trees. Second one, by stopping deforestation. Deforestation means cutting down of trees. Okay, by stopping deforestation and avoiding overgrazing of animals. Deforestation means cutting down of trees, so we should not cut the trees. And second one, overgrazing by animals. Sometimes what animals used to do, they eat the grasses or the small herbs or shrubs, small trees and all which are present on the land. So that will also lead to soil erosion. So we should stop deforestation and avoid overgrazing of animals. So with this, we have finished all the 9 questions given in your textbook for chapter number 9, soil. I hope you all have understood. If you have any doubt, you can comment in the comment section. I will try to clear your doubt. Thank you for watching my channel, Science Learning Gateway. If it is helpful for you, then please like it and share it with your friends also. And don't forget to click on the bell icon so that whenever I will be uploading a new video, you will get the notification for that. And if you are new to my channel, then please subscribe to it. Thank you for watching.